Good morning. Good morning. Please be seated. I know a number of individuals are recognized, our assembly members, our senators, our local county officials, but I also want to give a special shout out to our county executive, Ed Romaine. He's been a great, strong ally of mine. I want to appreciate him every chance I get. Thank him for his leadership here. County Executive Ed Romaine. As we mentioned, Dr. Errol Tulun, Dr. Errol Tulun, our sheriff is here as well. I want to thank him for joining us. Angie Carpenter, our supervisor, welcoming us to Angie. There's Angie. Members of the town board. I'm a former town board member, so I think they're the most important people in the room sometimes. And also, as I remembered, my administration, Stephen James, the superintendent, and you heard our host here today, Belinda Alvarez-Groneman, our Deputy Police Commissioner, and Ed Bonahue, our President of Suffolk Community College. Let's give everybody a round of applause. I come to Suffolk County often. Other counties are starting to take note. That's okay. That's okay. It's an incredible place. Extraordinary quality of life. Engaged citizens who care deeply about their community and making sure that we have a first-rate place to raise their kids, educate them, run a business. It's really a special place. And those of you who live here maybe take that for granted, but I can tell you I love coming here because there's such a sense of community and looking out for each other. And every time I come here, I'm reminded of what we're fighting for. You know, strong neighborhoods, safe streets, and as I said, communities that look out for one another. And there's no better place to talk about this than the Suffolk County Police Academy. And just last week, we had 154 recruits graduated. And they've all decided to go through they're willing to put themselves through the rigors of training and be ready to put on a uniform when the day is ready and to go into harm's way literally every single day. I commend their families. It's a sacrifice for them. And I speak at every single state police academy graduation. So proud that we have people willing to be so selfless, think of others. And it's an opportunity for many, but very few answer that call. And I'm truly in awe of those who do. So let's give another round of applause to all of our men and women in law enforcement. So to them, I thank all of you, but also my number one priority as your governor is keeping people safe. This is the strong alignment that we have. Always has been, always will be. I know what I'm there for. And that's why, first of all, we start with investments. You know, put your money where your mouth is, they say. $2.6 billion in police and public safety since I've been governor less than 4 years. When I first became governor, I also knew that we had an opportunity to really laser focus on the scourge of gun violence, the guns that are coming across borders, that iron pipeline that was bringing illegal guns to our streets. You know why we know they're from out of state? Because you don't manufacture them in New York. They're all from out of state. And we had to stem the tide of all the illegal guns that were flowing here. And now our state police, working with local law enforcement, sees 3 times as many more guns today than they did when I first became governor because we put a priority on removing guns off the streets. We equipped our crime analysis centers with cutting-edge ballistic technology, information that's available to our local law enforcement partners. We improved data and intelligence sharing, and we supported the vital work of community intervention and prevention programs. It's much better for us to identify young people at risk and get them into healthy programs and activities and steer them away from the temptations of the streets that could lead them to a different outcome. My husband was a federal prosecutor for 30 years, was a former United States attorney in the streets of Buffalo. Worked hard with our community partners, the violence disruptors, those who've been through the system themselves, who know what it's like. And they're the best advocates to talk to our young people about how to make sure that they do the right thing and lead themselves to a better, healthier life. So I believe in those programs to my core. But when young people do make the wrong decisions, or anyone We need to know that there's consequences, and they're willing to stand up. I've had to make some strong reforms to the bail laws that were changed a few years ago before I became governor in a way that was not protecting our communities, was not giving the judges the tools they need to ensure that people who have committed crimes are not just cycled back into our streets. We got those changed not once but twice. I had to go back twice to the legislature. It was not an easy fight, but we got it done. We just changed our discovery laws. Most people don't think about discovery laws, but think about this. We had tens of thousands of cases every single year where the case is made, prosecutors are ready to present it, and judges throughout cases after case after case, based on technicalities unrelated to the strength of the case. Sometimes it's duplicate information that was missing, but still under the laws that were there. Their hands were tied, and our streets were less safe. I said no more. That must change. And again, it was not an easy fight at all. But my Long Island partners know what that's all about. They stood with us to understand that our #1 priority is keeping people safe. When the laws are skewed in one direction, it does not. We have to bring them back. Let the pendulum swing back to the middle, where there's justice for all, but not a system that favors those who would do harm to others. So we got that done. We count on our judges, by the way, to enforce them. I don't always see that across the state. I'll point that out time and time again. But also there's areas where we've made a big difference. The red flag laws. I have to commend Suffolk County in terms of the extreme risk orders of protection, where we change them so it's not just law enforcement, but all the others who see the signs that someone is likely to do harm to someone else or even themselves. This really came into full vision for me after the mass shooting in my hometown of Buffalo. 10 innocent people slaughtered grocery shopping on a bright Saturday morning in May, a few years ago. There were signs with this individual, the shooter. He wasn't from Buffalo. He was from 3 hours away in the southern part of New York. But he decided that he would look at a map. I don't know if he really looked at a map. He probably just Googled it, but to find the place with the largest black population, closest drive to him. It was about 3.5 hours to the Bronx. It was 3 hours to Buffalo. He chose Buffalo to commit his heinous crime. But there were signs and red flags that were up, and they weren't noticed by people in the school system and others. So we went back immediately and changed the laws, working with the legislature to toughen our laws. And I'm really, really proud that Suffolk County leads the entire state in protecting its citizens, because they have more extreme orders of protection issued, more than 4,000 so far this year. 4,000. It's working. People are safer. And all these efforts are starting to pay off. After seeing the trend lines that were disturbing, they're frightening, of crime going up and up and up. And now they're going down. And just this past year, overall crime declined 4% compared to 2023, which was, again, another improved year. And between January and June of this year, shootings are down 19%, just in a few months. And gun murders are down 15% compared to the same time last year. And meanwhile, here on Long Island, we've had the lowest number of shootings on record in 2024. I mean, that goes way back. That's extraordinary. Thank you to our law enforcement partners. Thank you. Overall crime dropped 9%. Murders fell 24% compared to 2023, and 40% since 2021 when I first took office, down 40%. And again, some people say, well, of course, don't get casual about those numbers. It could have gone up 40%. That's the trend we are looking at, my friends. It's dropped dramatically because of an intentional effort to engage local law enforcement, to share information, to give money to counties. You know, it's not just the numbers, and I know these statistics are hard to process. What does it mean? But it means there's more people alive today, or people that are not been injured because of gun violence, sitting having a nice summer dinner with their families, a barbecue, because of the work of so many people in this room. And that's why we do this. That's exactly why we do this. But I know more than anyone our work is always far from done when it comes to protecting people, because one crime, one shooting, one murder is one too many. And in fact, in Suffolk County, we've seen a slight increase, from statistically, it doesn't matter because it's from 14 to 16. I mean, that's something I'm paying attention to. And 7 people lost their lives to gun violence this year already. Now, in a county of 1.5 million people, these would be viewed as small statistically. But again, we're focused on every single life, protecting every single person. And that's why we have to keep making these investments. Now, we have a program called the Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Initiative. Simply put, it's called GIVE. Here's how it works. We provide people with funding. 21 law enforcement agencies across the state and here on Long Island receive dollars from us every single year. What they do is that they hire more personnel, add more to their academies, buy more equipment, pay for overtime, enhance training, and use the latest technologies. And I've gone on the beats with a number of police officers and seen how this works, the hot spot policing, micro-targeting neighborhoods that are trouble spots, and just staying in there, unrelenting until you take the perpetrators out. And those who we often find it's the same number of people, the same people committing crime after crime. You take them out of the system, you have a safe community. We're focusing on deterrence, street outreach, and the results really speak for themselves. In these districts alone, shootings are down 52%, even more than statewide in these targeted communities, including Long Island. Homicides have dropped again. So I will say this, when something's starting to work, when you can see the trends, and I watch this, I read the crime data every single week. I get security briefings every week. Just was on the phone with my superintendent this morning. I look at everything. I get a colonel telling me what's happening with our intelligence briefings, our cyber threats, what's happening globally, because we are always a threat here in the state of New York, just even though people may be millions of thousands of miles away, New York is always a vulnerable place. So this year, we're reinvesting another $36 million into this program because it works. We're supporting 28 law enforcement organizations, including 9 right here on Long Island. So we have $2.6 million coming to this area, $1.3 million for our individual counties. And I'll say this, no governor has ever invested this much money in law enforcement, local law enforcement, because I understand it's not just us sitting in Albany. It's what you're doing here in the streets and the trainees that come out of this academy, the people wearing uniforms in this room. And there's nothing more important, as I said, than keep people safe. So the message is loud and clear. It's working, my friends. It's working. And we're going to continue on this path, continue the investments, continue the strategies, and always use the latest technological advances because we are New York. We want to be leading the nation, as we are. One of the lowest violent crime rates in America is in your home state of New York. Now, you may not know that from watching certain news stations, but it's the reality because of strategies like this are working. So I'll say this, I'll make sure that all of you have the resources you need, the tools you need to keep all of us safe, because that is why we're here. So thank you, everyone, for joining us and celebrating these great numbers, great statistics, great progress, but we're not done yet. With that, I'd like to introduce Superintendent Stephen James and give her perspective from the state. Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you, Governor. Also, thank you to law enforcement partners here on Long Island. Certainly, it's always a privilege to stand alongside professionals who are deeply committed to protecting the entire community. The State Police, we're proud to be part of a comprehensive safety effort. The Governor's continued investment in law enforcement has given our organization and our partners the tools that we need to be proactive, collaborative, and responsive to the evolving threats of today. That support is showing results. As the Governor mentioned, the GIVE funding For example, that continues to be a force multiplier. It continues to help local departments focus on gun violence prevention, community engagement, and crime suppression. Here on Long Island, those resources certainly are saving lives. This year's budget reflects serious commitment to public safety, as the governor laid out, including funding for additional police academies. The State Police Academy is no exception. That means more troopers on the road within the community, ready to serve and ready to respond. The governor's support for the Interstate Gun Violence Task Force is another prime example. That initiative allows us to intercept illegal firearms before they even reach the neighborhoods to do harm. We're also making use of data, intelligence, and technology like never before. Through the New York State Police Intelligence Center, the state police have social media analysts. We're tracking data. We're looking at credible threats in real time. This capability is already making a difference in preventing the violence on the streets and within the community, enabling us to respond quickly as the incidents occur. These aren't just investments in law enforcement. They're investments in safety, in stability, and an investment in trust. So on behalf of the state police, I thank the governor. I thank you for your leadership and for continuing to prioritize public safety throughout the state of New York. And now I'd like to introduce Mr. Ed Romaine, the Suffolk County Executive.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to join the governor. The first obligation of any government is public safety. And the governor spoke eloquently about her commitment to public safety. It's a commitment that I'm sure everyone in this room shares, particularly those who have taken the oath to uphold the laws of this country, of this state, and of this county. Getting illegal guns off the street is one of the best things that we can do. No good thing comes from an illegal gun. So doing that, increasing funding for training, for police academies, and for technology. I've got to tell you, I've worked very closely with our district attorney, who is Mr. Tierney, who does a great job, and he's advocated for ShotSpotter. So when we know, and what he found out is in this county, shots are fired in probably 1% to 2% of the geographic layout of the land. And having a ShotSpotter, just that technology alone, get them to respond and reduce crime. We're looking to keep our streets safe. The governor has spoken eloquently about this. We are partners here. I am so happy for our Suffolk County Police Department, our 5 town police departments on the East End, and our 9 village departments. Together, we do the work of what most people consider fundamental to government: public safety, keeping their families and their businesses safe. Thank you, Governor, for your appearance today. Thank you to the state police, who are our partners, and we all partner together. Many hands make light work, and we will go after the bad guys, and we will get them, and we will keep our community safe. Thank you again. And one of our partners on a local level is our sheriff. Sheriff,
Thank you.
good to see you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'd like to thank Governor Hochul for her continued support, not only of law enforcement, but for this continued investment today. You know, we've been receiving a gift grant for 10 years now and counting, and it's very, very important for us in law enforcement to do exactly what we do every single day, which is a critical work. You know, this grant now, not only, as the governor mentioned, provides overtime, personnel, key technology that we can use to go after these bad actors in our community. The Sheriff's Office, we're doing critical work from firearm recovery to background check investigations, red flag orders, and gang and crime prevention programs in our schools. This is more about prevention, partnership, and reducing gun violence in our communities. Since I became sheriff in 2018, my main goal, and you can see a sign as you leave my Yaphank facility, is to get to the kids before they get to me. Being able to use this funding to assist with youth programs like our great gang resistance education and training helps us to reach at-risk youth and their families before trouble does. This funding also has given us an initiative to look at the individuals in our custody that have committed firearm crimes. So what we're doing is creating a curriculum for every inmate that comes into our custody so that they can understand the ramifications of firearm use and even those that are victims of a firearm crime. I want to thank the governor again for her continued support of law enforcement, County Executive Romaine for leading us here in Suffolk County with District Attorney Ray Tierney and Police Commissioner Catalina. And now it's my privilege to introduce the Deputy Police Commissioner, Belinda Alvarez Groneman.
Well, good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Suffolk County Police Commissioner Kevin Catalina, we would like to extend our gratitude to Governor Hochul for the GIVE grant funding, which enhances our public safety efforts in Suffolk County. And thank you again. Give our applause. The grant money builds upon our success in fighting our gun violence, providing funds to focus on enforcement and community outreach efforts. We concentrate on specific areas that have higher levels of gun violence and perform additional patrol utilizing evidence-based policing. In addition, the funding assists with community engagement, including the creation of a pilot program to mentor youth. And again, Governor Hochul, we want to just say thank you for your support in keeping us and keeping our residents safe. And I'd like to end it by just saying, my family here at Suffolk County Community College, thank you for putting this venue together. Thank you for everything you do. And to all my Suffolk County Police Department family, God bless you and be safe out there.
Everyone, please stay seated as we take some photos. And thank you, everyone. This concludes today's program.